Had a pistol jam mid-draw once. Steel target in front of me. Timer screaming in my ear. Click. No boom. Just silence and betrayal. Felt like being sucker punched by your best friend. That's when I made a list. Not of pretty guns. Not of what YouTubers flex. I wanted fighters. Tools. Guns that'll eat brass, swallow dirt, and come back for more. Some are legends. Some you'll want to argue about. One of them I hate, and it's still here. Why? Because this isn't about what you like. It's about what works when everything else quits on you. Stick around, because the one at number 4, yep, I already know it's gonna piss somebody off. If you're here for the truth, good. Then let's raise some hell. First time I saw a Glock 17 Gen 5 gem? Yeah, didn't happen. We were in Corpus Christi, middle of a heat wave that could melt siding of a trailer. My buddy Caleb, ex-deputy out of San Antonio, whips out his Gen 5 like he's about to settle a bet with God. The thing looked like it had been dragged behind a boat. No oil, no lube, just caked sweat, lint, and bad decisions. He goes, bet you lunch it still runs. Racks it, sounds like a blender full of screws, and Mac dumps 17 rounds without even flinching. Not a cough, not a stutter, just boom, 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 like it's angry at the dirt. It's the same plastic beast that Dallas cops carry when backup's 20 minutes and 3 9/11 hang-ups away. It's the same one an old vet in Waco's been running since '08 with the same crusty bottle of hopes. Online, guys freeze it with elk meat, dunk it in concrete, and then pull it out. Yep, it still bangs. The Gen 5's not sexy and not fancy, just allergic to failure. And the next pistol? If recoil were a flavor, it'd drink it straight from a bottle. You want to talk slept on? The Walther PPQM2 is that quiet kid in school who never spoke but could bench the gym. Doesn't get the Glock glory nor CZ cult love, but it outshoots half the guns y'all worship online. Back at this crusty indoor range in Fort Worth, my old neighbor Tony, retired Air Force, had a PPQM2 with over 30k rounds through it. Same springs, same frame, cleaned it when he remembered, and never choked, not even once. Inside, it's surgical. German-made precision like it was built by engineers who knew nobody believed in it, so it made itself undeniable. No flex, no drama, just round after round doing its damn job while the plastic toys pose for Instagram. Now if you thought this one was underrated, wait till you see the next sleeper. No fluff, just fists. Now we're in Waco in the middle of July with a sweat in your eyes kind of heat. My cousin Jake, an ex-Marine now wrenching tractors, pulls a beat-up Beretta M9 from a glove box that hadn't even seen light since Bush was president. Things ugly as sin, he says, brushing off a spider web, but I trusted more than my ex-wife. That M9 had been through hell. Sand, mud, and even a shed fire, but it still ran in spite of that. The M9 was never flashy to begin with. It was a blue-collar warhorse issued to folks who didn't have the luxury of safes or even downtime. It survived Fallujah, Kandahar, and now Jake's barn. Still in service with guys in Corpus and San Antonio PD, not because it's trendy, but because it's earned its right to stay. Jake dumped a Mac into a rusted barrel clean and with no hiccup. He just smirked and said, "Still breathing." Guess that makes 2 of us. And if that one made you flinch, buckle up. The next one froze solid and still came up swinging. This was the first time I saw a Ruger SR9 eat dirt. Actual dirt. We were outside Lubbock on a cold January with winds that were sharp enough to peel paint. Derek, an old-school deputy from Waco, walks like he buried a few secrets, pulls out the SR9 from a beat-up duffel that's seen more drama than a divorce court. No oil, no maintenance, just rust, regret, and bad decisions. He chuckles, This thing's outlasted 2 patrol cars and 1 marriage. Racks it, sounds like it bricks in a blender, and dumps the whole mag into a frozen steel silhouette like it stole his last paycheck. No jams, no misfeeds, just business. The big mistake was that Ruger shelved it. Folks in San Antonio still keep them under truck seats wrapped in old rags. Ready, loyal, and ugly as hell. It's not for show, it's for fixing things that need fixing. Like your uncle's dented Craftsman wrench, which has been through hell, but still gets the job done. We're outside Odessa with July heat that's hot as Satan's breath. Greg, a USPSA shooter and diesel mechanic with forearms like hydraulic jacks, pulls a TPS FX from a dusty range bag. Bought it on a whim, he mutters. Let's see if it survives. 1,200 rounds later, no lube, no brake. Thing still chewing brass like it's hungry. The slide is hotter than a cast iron skillet, and it still didn't care. The guy from Waco shakes his head. Ain't no way that Turkish gun ran cleaner than my Shadow, but it did. No name hype, no pedigree, just fight. The Canik doesn't beg for approval, it just performs. Mag after mag, match after match, it shows up like a brawler in church clothes. Shooters from Dallas to Daytona keep it dirty on purpose just to see if it'll flinch. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. I met the XDM Elite Tactical OSP in a place folks don't usually talk gear. A battered indoor range outside Lubbock, Texas, where the air smells like old rubber and sweat. My buddy Ray, a former Army, now teaches CCW classes, had one tucked into a faded range bag. Gun snobs on YouTube had already called it too clunky, too tactical for real-world use, blah blah blah. Ray just grinned and said, "Come see what 10,000 rounds and 0 stoppages actually looks like." We shot that thing all day. Steel, paper, even an old toaster someone dragged in as a joke. Not one hiccup, no stovepipes, no feeding drama. Just clean, savage cycling. Like a workhorse built in a welding shop. By dusk, some guy from Amarillo who had never touched a Springfield said, "I think I just changed religions." The gun's not here to impress influencers, it's here to survive. And the next one? That sucker's been buried, frozen, and dropped, and it still won't say uncle. You ever hear of a guy named Danny from Corpus Christi? Runs a tow truck, owns 3 dogs, and swears the only thing more reliable than his mutt is his effing 509 compact MRD. I met him outside a busted gas station last summer. Hood popped, grease on his boots, pistol riding clean in his waistband like it was born there. Danny said, "Man, I've dropped this thing in sand so fine it'd jam a Zippo and it still spit lead like nothing happened." I believed him too as he showed me the scratches. Said he once forgot it on the tailgate overnight during a storm and found it half buried in mud the next morning. Fired on the first trigger pull and there was no coddling, no excuses. This thing ain't some mall ninja gear. It's got MHA's military trial scars baked in. Guns had to survive dirt naps, concrete faceplants, and being ignored like a bad ex. Most pistols folded, but this one didn't even flinch. Alright, now slow down a sec, because if you thought that was solid, wait till you meet the next one. It's ugly, it's stubborn, and it simply refuses to die. The PDP full size doesn't care what ammo you feed it. Steel case, brass, pawn shop reloads, it chews through all of it like it's getting paid to misbehave. No oil, doesn't flinch. No cleaning, still runs. You could bury this thing in Corpus sand and pull it out a week later and it'll cycle like it just had a spa day. The grip's aggressive enough to file your palm down. Trigger breaks so clean it makes your carry gun feel like a stapler. Recoil? Barely even there. So soft it's practically insulting. People keep babying their guns, but this one, it would slap you for trying. If this pistol had a voice, it'd sound like a gravel and cheap whiskey. The M2.0 compact metal ain't fancy and it doesn't care. You could drop it off a truck, drag it through Amarillo dirt, spill coffee on it, and it still fire like it's got something to prove. Trigger's tighter than a country budget. The grip texture feels like it was designed by a guy who lost a bet. Aggressive, mean, and effective. It's not the gun for Instagram. It's the gun for when your truck breaks down on a dirt road and something's moving in the brush. Run it dirty, run it dry, it'll outlive your knees. Waco's got this guy Jesse, retired border patrol, quiet as they come. The kind of guy who just listens more than he talks. But mention his VP9 tactical OR, his face changes. You would think you just handed him a cold shiner on a 100-degree day. He just says, only tool I never had to second guess. That pistol's been through it all. Mesquite thorns, Corpus rainstorms, tossed under the seat, dropped in the dirt, and not even once has it choked. No jams, no drama. Just that same heavy click and clean cycle like it's built to get ignored and still show up. It gets mad when I don't shoot it, Jesse said one day, barely looking up from fixing a leather holster with a toothpick. The trigger breaks crisp. Reset, snaps back before your finger's even ready. No flash, no frills. HK built this thing to work, and it works. Not loud about it, just consistent like Jesse. Now Ricky from Fort Worth, he doesn't care about your reviews or rankings. Drives a diesel, hauls pipe, drinks Folgers straight from the pot. Says most guns feel like toys until they've been dropped, dragged, or forgotten in a truck overnight. He grabbed a P226 Legion off a bet. Said, let's see if this fancy boy survives a real summer, and boy did it ever. West Texas heat, sandstorms, glove box marathons, 25,000 plus rounds of dirt and doubt, and the Legion just kept chewing brass like it owed somebody money. Ricky calls it a steel toe boat with a trigger. This thing's smoother than his Dodge on a good day. Slide glides, trigger breaks like a dry wig, and recoil tamed like it's apologizing for even being there. And the kicker? Not one jam, nada. But hey, don't get too comfortable. The next one, well, let's just say mud is its natural habitat. You want steel that don't flinch? Meet the CZ75 SP01 Tactical, a full metal sledgehammer disguised as a 9mm pistol. This thing isn't light, not polymer, and not trying to be cute. It's like carrying a damn anchor with a trigger. But here's the twist. It moves like a sewing machine. Smooth, fast, and cold-blooded. Military grade? Yep. NATO certified? Check. Survived hog hunts, IPSC torture matches, and probably a divorce or two. One guy I knew dunked his in a mud pit near Corpus. Still ran cleaner than half the guns at his range. The slide rides like it's on rails. The recoil's so soft it's almost polite, but don't mistake its manners for mercy. This is not a safe queen, it's a bar fight in a tuxedo. And Kenny from Waco says he trusts it more than his own knees, which, considering the limp, says a lot. You want plastic? Go buy a lunchbox. You want something that hits, runs, and don't whine? CZ's your guy. No hype, no neon stickers, just cold, greasy reliability. Up next is Glock 19 Gen 5. Yes, I know you guys heard it all, but here's the truth. It's not hype, it's just that damn reliable. Think of it like your granddad's trusted Craftsman wrench, the one with duct tape on the handle that still cracks bolts better than anything on Amazon. That's the Glock 19. Ugly? Absolutely, but it still runs like it's got something to prove. Heat wave in Waco? Fine. Covered in mud, sweat, and pocket lint? Still fine. Dropped out of a truck bed, buried in a ranch yard, left in a glove box since Obama's first term? Guess what? Still goes boom every single time. Eli, an oil-fueled buddy of mine, calls it the only polymer thing I trust besides Tupperware. And even then, he didn't microwave either one. The police carry it, the Marines trust it, and the internet tries to break it for views and fail every time. It's not sexy, that's for sure, and not even trendy, but it's that pistol you reach for when things get ugly and no one's coming. So yep, the Glock 19 Gen 5, it's the pit bull in a kennel full of poodles. And just when you thought it couldn't get tougher, well, something else is warming up in the corner, and it ain't playing nice. Stay locked in. I was in San Antonio this spring. Hawks tore up Uncle Mike's cornfield again. Middle of the night, wind in our teeth, shirt stuck with sweat. Mike pulls his Sig P320 carry Legion like it's a part of him. Watch this, he says, and drops 2 bores like flipping a switch. We've all heard the drop fire stories, but this ain't that gun. The Legion feels like Sig took the criticism, ate it up, and came back with a vengeance. No gems, no excuses. Mike runs it dry, dusty, frozen, and once even soaked after it slipped in a canyon lake. But guess what? It still fired and still nailed targets like unpaid debt. He calls it the second best decision I ever made, and the first was marrying a Corpus girl who reloads 45s blindfolded. And that's the X-Carry for you. No flash, no fuss. Just the last one standing when the lights go out. These aren't guns from brochures. These are beat to hell, mud-dragged, glove box forgotten workhorses. Some are legends, some are cursed, but all of them earn their spot. Don't agree with the list? Good. That means you're still thinking. Drop your pick down in the comments and tell me which one failed on you or which one's still running after 10 years of abuse. Hit subscribe, bring some coffee, and for God's sakes, clean your damn gun. We are just getting started.